Yo, Outer Worlds 2. I never played the first one, so I'm trying to figure out what this game is about. It looks cool though. Yo, Sore Throat Glass is still here, bro. Sore Throat is still here. Bear with me again. We about to try something a little different. Boom. I'm about to be in your face with it. I don't want to make this intro too long, man, but I'm a gamer at heart. I gotta see what this game is about. We're gonna get back to the crime investigation stuff, but if you're a gamer, you into first person shooters, this might be up your alley too. So let's find out together.
Welcome to our latest IGN First, and it's all about The Outer Worlds 2. This is the very first look at its gameplay to kick off our exclusive coverage throughout the month of April. I got to visit the developers at Obsidian to see the game itself, interview them about how it was made, and get insight on a ton of its new features. So keep an eye out for our deep dives in the coming weeks, but for now, enjoy this look at a quest that takes you through the N-Ray facility where you'll see many of its new gameplay systems in action.
I never played the first one. I heard of the first one. I don't know what this game is about. Okay. I mean, considering this is Outer Worlds, I'm assuming you're in space. Right? Captain Obvious, right?
That's the range, Commander. Oh, this will be glorious. Hope my enthusiasm doesn't get the better of me. Those traitors need to suffer.
Everything must become nothing.
Let me know which one you like better.
Everything.
This or this. I'm gonna go here right now just so y'all can get a bigger scene.
Enemies descried. It's killing time.
The rift is my gateway to transcendence. My piety is the key.
Damn. Okay.
Oh, the unspeakable
That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. Who's that? Who is that? You got like an accomplice? Yo, is this game multiplayer?
Now this is just sloppy. If I wasn't already here to kill all these traitorous fools, I'd be forced to use one or two as an example to the rest.
I mean, visually the game looks good though. The game actually looks nice.
0.36 cubed divided by the standard rate of fluid flow, and then you multiply by, is it 30 or?
Oh, Obsidian made this
Hello.
game. I didn't even know
Look
that.
at the state of this poor fool. They just left her bleeding out? Exsanguination is an art. Where's the precision, the pride in their work? This is just embarrassing.
There's a cultist behind you! Wait, surely she isn't with you. Fine. Just please keep her away from me.
Wait, so the same company that made
The
Avowed
crazed
made this game.
people like your friend here have been sowing destruction throughout the range for days. I've seen few firsthand, but that isn't because they've gone. Rather, I believe they have become visibility deficient. Oh, there's no such thing as invisibility. I can only theorize that their visual forms were sent out of phase when they haphazardly tampered with pressurized N-rays.
Their actions are inexcusable. Science allows us to unveil the wonder of the rifts. We do not disrespect it. Now, is there any science around here we can use to find and kill them?
It's a shame the facility is in shambles. We have an N-ray scanner device that may render the cultists far easier for one to locate. The scanner is an optical device designed to detect electrical signals and the N-rays given off by all living beings. Visible or not, the cultists still give off N-rays. It was stored nearby. But with the damage to the facility, you'll likely need to use the maintenance vent on the wall there behind the screen to get anywhere near it. Don't worry. I'll just be here, in my deepening puddle of blood.
So the people that made Avowed made this game. That's kind of cool because Avowed, didn't that just come out like last year? No. Avowed came out this year. Came out like a few months ago.
Fear not, my brethren. The eyes of the unworthy cannot behold our transcendent forms.
There's the N-ray scanning device the scientist was talking about.
I want to see what the combat looked like. Like this. I want to see some more combat.
Enemy spotted.
Okay. Oh, this allows you to see people that's invisible.
Homicide always cheers me up.
Wait, what? So, can they see you? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Is that you, Presiding Bishop? I'm sorry, I haven't had time to clean up. It's so hard to get bloodstains out of our uniforms. You can use it to see the wires connecting this door to the nearest override panel. Try not to electrocute yourself. Don't worry. I'll just be here, in my deepening puddle of blood.
That should do it. Let's get on with the killing.
You've opened the way forward. Very good work.
What? Wait, hold up. Hold on. Is that the person that was helping you? Wait, what is that? Wait, is this one of those
That's
games?
just a taste of what's to come in the Outer.
Is this one of those games where that was it? Damn, that was fast. Is this one of those games where you could kill anybody in the game?
Worlds 2, and what we're covering in this month's IGN First. We'll be breaking down character builds, the new flaw system, all the wild and wacky weapons, and how much bigger this sequel is. So, for all your exclusive coverage on the Outer Worlds 2, stick with IGN.
Well, we gotta watch another one. We gotta watch another one. How to go wild RPG? Yeah, we gotta watch another one.
As part of our IGN First series on the Outer Worlds 2, we talk with design director Matt Singh and lead systems designer Kyle Koenig from Obsidian about how the team expanded the ways in which you can build your character. Instead of the streamlined systems of the first game, the Outer Worlds 2 gives players more room to customize their build for specific playstyles and spec into the game's unique aspects with reworked stats, perks, and traits. The flaw system has been overhauled too, which we'll dive into with another video, but first, let's get into how this sequel is embracing its RPG roots.
Okay.
We really kind of focus down on making each individual level up and investment really important. We have combined a lot of the skills, but each one now has a much more significant impact per point. And we've significantly increased the number of perks we have with over 90 of them. Each of those perks requiring various skills to unlock. So as you invest in skills, it changes how you can invest in perks and leads you down many different paths for how you can build your character.
We really wanted to lean into kind of player synergies. So looking at how player traits, player skills, and perks can all infuse into interesting builds that play off of other systems. There's more than just traditional kind of my stealth-focused build or my combat-focused build or my speech-focused build. There's really a lot of blending of concepts, playing with other systems, and incorporating those into a pretty broad, unique kind of range of different player profiles that you could take. Mm-hmm. We have some kind of archetypes that we key into to make sure that they're well supported, but we're not prescriptive in the way that we want you to experiment, play with, mix and match stuff, and really experiment, make something unique for you.
Homicide always cheers me up.
When we moved away from the skill categories and went into deeper, just individual skills with more differences between them, the goal was to make it so players, when they're building these characters, they can really look at the difference between each skill and what the gameplay changes for them are. And by having them different, there's less confusion on when I should invest in one skill or the other. It's much more clearly, I want to be the player that's all about guns and using medical devices. I know which skills I really need to care about. By having them separated and not having individual groupings of them, it lets characters be more specialized. We still support jack-of-all-trade characters, of course, but lets characters more easily specialize and have their playthrough be very much more catered towards that character.
One thing that we're really going for is having very clear distinctions between what do different skills do for your build, giving them a clear space to shine, and then being able to integrate them in the game in a lot of different ways. Not only just the specific bonuses that you get from investing in the skill, but the things that it unlocks for perks, the things that it unlocks within conversations. We even have stuff like observation skill. Hey, that actually unlocks new things in the world. Because you are a very observant player, you're actually going to pick up on things in the environment that you wouldn't have otherwise. Oh, you're high in observation? This secret door that other people may never even find is now gonna be something that's highlighted for you and you can interact with, and now you've found a new path because you are a more observant player. And so we have condensed the skills, clarified the gameplay spaces for them so that we can key into those major differences between them.
My piety is the key.
As mentioned, we have a ton of different perks. The way we looked at them while designing them was to look at, okay, what are all the different modes of gameplay the player has? What are all the actions they can take, and how can we modify them? So we have tons of different examples, like a fun one is run and gun. So if you're a player that really wants to run around with shotguns and SMGs and rifles, you can have fire while sprinting or sliding. And that really opens up a whole new world for those weapons, as you don't need to be as stationary behind cover to use them. We have other perks that key into things like speech, where we use them in conversations, like Space Ranger, which lets you kind of live the space commander fantasy, where we interact with that in conversations all the time and let you kind of live that character. But it also grants you damage based off of your speech skill, letting skills progress in ways that are different than if you didn't take those perks.
We have a lot of perks that are kind of catered towards non-traditional playstyles as well. We have a line for like psychopath players, right? We see people that want to go and just kill people in town and whatnot, and you're like, whoa, okay, if you want to do that, you can. But similarly with our perk system, hey, you want to do that? Lean into it. Take this perk psychopath, you'll get bonuses for it. Lean into it even further, you can take a serial killer perk that keys off of that and get some major bonuses for it. So again, we're looking for ways to incentivize the player to experiment with different builds, either traditional or non-traditional.
Exsanguination is an art. Where's the precision, the pride in their work?
So it's a psychopath build. That's probably why
And I
he
think it's
killed
fun to play with some of the
this
builds where
exemplar person.
you're opting into things that may sound detrimental to like make your build more interesting. So like we've got some stuff for essentially like taking damage but then converting that into energy that can then be spent, right? And that can actually be really fun to play with, where you're like, okay, well then how do I construct a build where I'm actually incentivized to get in there and take damage so that I can then do other things effectively? And I really like those kinds of creative builds that allow you to play with that and convert something that might be negative into a positive aspect of your build.
So in character creation, there's also two additional things you select: your background, which doesn't have any RPG stats associated with them. They're purely role-playing. We use them all the time in conversations as a way to further differentiate your characters from others. And then we also have traits, where we have positive and negative traits. So one of the things in Outer Worlds 1 that was kind of a key off of Fallout was you could have negative attributes. And that would be actively detrimental to your character, but hey, you get a few extra points to spend somewhere else. We have traits now where you have positive and negative traits, and you can select a positive trait, which grants you things like you get to tag an extra skill in conversations if you're in character creation because you're brilliant. Or you're brawny, you can run into someone and knock them down. And then you can select a negative trait to select a second positive trait. And the negative traits can be crazy things like your character is dumb, which of course has lots of conversation uses, but it locks off 5 skills that you can never put points into. So early on, those skills are not on the table for me. My character is going to be really into these 2 things only.
Don't worry. I'll just be here in my deepening puddle of blood.
One of the things that I think a lot of us on the team love about RPGs is the evolved story of your character as you play. It being the story of your character, not the story of the world as much. By limiting respec, we let you do it at the start of the game just as a way to, you tried a few things maybe you want to change after the beginning area. By removing respect, we really incentivize that experience to be your experience. If you're going through the game and you decide, hey, I really like using gadgets, maybe I should start investing in that. Those skill points are a part of your story. It's a part of your experience that no one else had. And I think that's really special about RPGs and something that respect tends to lessen.
Wait. So he just said they're removing respect or they're not adding respect. So if I'm not mistaken, respect respect, it allows you to change your stats, to basically shuffle it around, change it however you want, whenever you want. If you change your mind or something, you're not like fully committed to a specific skill tree that you started, right? So in this game, you're not going to be able to respect when you want. Did I hear that correctly? Did I hear that correctly? All right, so I just re-listened to it just now. I mean, he said early in the game he'll give you the option to respect because he wants you to try things out first before you commit. But then after that early part of the game, then they don't allow you to respect anymore. So I guess whatever you have is what you have. I mean, I get it. I get his point. But I'm not gonna lie. I like to have full control. I like to be able to respect whenever. But it's not a it's not a deal breaker for me. But I find it interesting that they made that decision.
Philosophy wise, we really feel all of your choices should matter. They should be meaningful changes to your gameplay experience. And this is just one of those ways where we're asking you to lean in, make a choice, stick to it, and see how that plays out in interesting and fun ways. Yes, you can experiment, you can play with it, but and you may find something that, like, try this out, I don't really like it too much. You know, you might want to load a save. You might want to do something a little different. You might want to try a different playthrough. But we really want those choices to feel meaningful, feel impactful to that player's story.
Matt and Kyle are a few of the people who have a hand in making The Outer Worlds 2, and in the coming weeks, we'll have conversations with Fallout OG and creative director Leonard Boyarsky and game director Brandon Adler. We also have 11 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay if you want to check that out as well. It's all part of our exclusive coverage on Obsidian's next big game, so for more on The Outer Worlds 2, stick with IGN. The Outer Worlds 2 seems to be expanding in so many directions.
All right, this is the last
As
one.
part of our IGN First exclusive, we previously covered the reworked RPG
This one is the worlds. A look at his expansive world.
elements that'll give players deeper and more varied gameplay options. But now, we're here to talk about worlds, the open zones and regions across the different planets and moons that
I want to know: is this an open world game? Like, is it open world? Is it multiplayer? So you have a companion. I don't know.
make up your journey in The Outer Worlds 2. This time around, they're noticeably bigger, but bigger doesn't always mean better. So I talked with art director Daniel Alpert and game director Brandon Adler about how they're rewarding exploration, creating dense environments, and thinking about level design this time around. And we dig into the trenches of Golden Ridge for a first look at one of the new regions you'll explore and what that could tell us about the open zones to come.
We're definitely going more expansive than the first game. First game we were
And real quick, for you guys that may have played this before, the first one, I don't know why I'm getting like Borderlands vibes as far as like is this focused mainly on like gameplay, guns and things like that? Like, is the story gonna be decent? Like, does the story matter? I don't know.
very confined to like smaller hubs, overlands, areas. Now we're utilizing.
Wait. Did you just say Borderlands areas?
We're definitely going more expansive than the first game. First game we were very confined to like smaller hubs, overlands, areas. Now
You said overlands. That's a different word.
we're utilizing Unreal Engine 5. We can have way more expansive worlds. From point A to point B is a much larger territory that we can cover. And in between those areas, we have lots of like little POIs and tinies that we can explore.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on that, one of the very first things that we were targeting when we started the Outer Worlds 2 was to make these big, large, expansive areas. Really, it's what players kind of told us that they wanted the most out of the Outer Worlds 2, right? So, working with Daniel and the other directors, we sat down and we came up with a plan to how are we going to go do that, right? So we made sure that, with big open sight lines, and that we spent a lot of time and effort on making really cool looking POIs, point of interest, at distance to really kind of draw people and really also maybe kind of bring them off the beaten path a little bit. So like when they're heading over there, we made sure that like as you're rounding corners or you're doing things like that, you see like little pops of interest. And so, being able to like kind of draw the player in those different directions. But another element that was also kind of really important as we're kind of doing all of this stuff is making sure that it was very interesting when you get there. So we made sure that we like blanketed all of our areas with just cool, fun stuff to go do, nice loot to go find, cool stories to go unfold.
Golden Ridge is an area on the moon of Dorado within the Arcadia system, that's owned by the Protectorate faction. It is rich with resources, but not teeming with life. So the water is poisonous. It's desert-like, but it has this like kind of arid appearance. But as I said, it's really rich with resources, and this has caused factions to fight over this landscape.
Yeah, I mean, the resource itself, Zeranium, is new to the Outer Worlds 2 and what that means, but it's the thing that powers all of Protectorate society. All the auto mechanicals and their major machines kind of run off of this stuff, which is one of the major reasons that everybody's kind of fighting over this. So that's kind of Golden Ridge's thing. Right, so you're going to get a lot of the same types of things, that we had in the first game, right? So you're going to have cool side quests, interesting characters to kind of go and meet and do all of that stuff. But we also made sure we added in a lot of cool little things for players to go find that are little collectible type things. We have like these toss ball cards. We had a few of them in the first game, but we've added a ton of those things. You can collect them. You get cool bonuses for having that stuff. And again, another thing that was really, really important to us early on is making sure that we are telling.
Oh no, man. I'm looking at this. I'm just thinking like this place looks empty. There's like nothing moving around really. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what do you do? What do you do in this game? I'm trying to figure that out. That's what I need to know. Like what's in this game that I'm gonna care about, That's what I need. That's what I need to know. Like, what am I gonna be doing? What's the story? Like, is there a story? Like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. And maybe there's a specific trailer that goes over what's happening. But I don't know what the hell is happening, bro. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, okay, I see some random colorful stuff. This place looks deserted, looks empty. Like, what am I gonna do here? What do I interact with? That's what I'm looking for.
Stuff. And again, another thing that was really, really important to us early on is making sure that we are telling cool, fun stories as well. Like that's part of the reward is you go into these areas and you get to learn about like the different NPCs that were inhabiting these areas, the different different characters you're just going to kind of go and meet throughout this whole thing. So that was another big thing that there's not just a material reward, but it's a cool, fun story reward that just really enhances the whole process. One of the things that we do before we get into any area is we just have deep conversations about the overall story, not only just with the overall story itself, but the factions and kind of what they were doing, what's important to them. Why was anybody in Golden Ridge? And that kind of really sets the stage when we go to the artist and we're like, okay, there was a fight here. Here's what they were fighting over. Here's kind of why this ended up in the way that it is. We want the trench lines here, maybe for gameplay reasons, but here's why it makes sense story-wise. And then what usually happens at that point is the pods, mixtures of area designers, narrative designers, environment artists, they kind of get together and really kind of discuss, okay, well, like, here's the broad level idea. How do we get to, like, the core idea of, like, what is in here, the cool, fun little stories that we can tell with that backdrop. That's usually how we kind of go through our areas and kind of set that stuff up.
We intentionally design each of our worlds to feel different from each other. It's a unique landscape every time you land on a new moon or new area. So it shouldn't be like you come here and it's like, oh, it's a little bit more of the same. No, this is completely different from the last moonscape you just came from. And the next one you're going to be visiting is completely different as well.
That said, like, one thing I think that is going to really pop to people when they first get in there, and it'll be super noticeable, is we have these big open areas, and Golden Ridge may be like the most open out of all of them. I mean, it's huge and it's vast, and it kind of gives you a cool feeling of like, man, this is a world I can go and explore. And you can see, again, all of the nooks and crannies everywhere, lots of cool things off in the distance to just like, yeah, I'm going to go see that thing. I think that's going to show up almost immediately. I think, I won't get into what happens at the beginning of Golden Ridge, but there's a big state change in the area that where you first get over there, it's going to kind of blow people away, and it's going to make them, again, really want to go and investigate what's happening and all of that stuff. And you see that throughout a lot of our areas as well. We try to do those types of things, let the players see big events that are happening pretty early to get them kind of hooked into the area.
One of the interiors we have, Xyranium Labs, is this big open mining facility. So you kind of get tunneled in through an elevator and you open up, and all of a sudden it's like a huge kind of environment, but within a confined space. We're able to kind of get that feeling of almost epicness, but in a way that is still very...
I'm not gonna lie, I like this map a little bit more than the open outside area. I'm curious about what's the deal with these crystals, though. It's giving me Final Fantasy 16 vibes. I don't know if these crystals have some kind of magic or power connected to it. But this looks like an underground city or something.
Explorable. Player doesn't get lost in there. They can find their way and discover like little goodies along the ways.
Well, again, I think a lot of what we're doing when we're building these more open spaces is we have a defined path that we want the player to go through. But, in true Obsidian game style, we allow players to go everywhere and kind of experience whatever they want. So, when we go in there, we work with the environment artists and the audio designers to really draw the player around, either through visual markers or interesting things that they're kind of hearing. And so that's really what we use to kind of softly pull the player through areas. But again, we know where we want the players to go, so we put the most interesting elements in the spaces that we want them to kind of walk to and walk towards.
We have this like decorative Art Nouveau touch kind of over everything, but we also kind of ground our technological reality as if it was still constructed in the early 20th century. With this, we're able to like kind of pull from areas of like the late Old West to almost World War I-esque items and imbue the areas with like these like little touches. If the player kind of goes through Dorado, they'll notice like a trench warfare line that is reminiscent of World War I. And if they go like a little further into like a town, they'll still kind of have that frontier colony vibe that we wanted to hit, not just with Game 1, but also push further with Game 2.
I mean, I think a cool thing with the setting in general is everything is very analog. Everything is very... clunky is not the right word, but everything has like meat to it. Things are not sleek and small, and I think that's really cool. When you go through the world, you see lots of huge wires and pipes that come in and out of things that kind of show almost the internals of like how these things work. I think it's a very interesting thing, and we've kind of doubled down on that, and you can see that in a lot of our areas as well.
Well, I'll tell you a couple quick advantages of using Unreal Engine 5. One, we had limitations before with how many people can work within a certain area at a time. That's been way more freeform in how we are able to utilize the engine. So multiple people, designers, artists can be working that same area at one time without having to collaborate on top of each other. But the greatest advantage has been
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So he's saying that multiple people could work on the same section or part of the game at the same time, and they weren't able to do that before. The reason why I'm saying that's cool is because I was just saying how, like, didn't they just release a game this year, Avowed? And it's funny how Avowed has like, look at these colors. These are the same colors that's like on the cover of the Avowed game. It's like a bluish, pink, purplish, with the skeleton, right? So anyway, they made Avowed that dropped this year. This game I think is coming out later this year. By them being able to work on the same parts of the game with multiple people working on the same stuff, multiple people working on the same parts of the game, I think they're able to produce like production could go faster. Unreal Engine 5 is the newest engine of Unreal, right? It just a few years ago people started working with Unreal Engine 5. But I believe that once they get used to it, way they eventually got used to Unreal Engine 4, they're probably going to be moving way faster. And they're probably going to be popping out games a lot faster once they really get used to using Unreal Engine 5. And I think that's what they just showed. Because I believe Avowed was Unreal Engine 5 as well. And look how fast they got Avowed and this game popping out back to back. And that's assuming that it's the same team behind Obsidian. So I guess that kind of explains why these two games came out so close together. That's something to think about.
been just the global illumination, real-time lighting, just being able to see and iterate on areas really fast has been just a game changer. Being able to quickly iterate is like just tantamount to like exploring creativity in a game like, especially like the Outer Worlds. If something just doesn't feel right, it's not working right, we can quickly prototype a change and see it in real time and play with it, and then get feedback from our game directors, our design directors, and we just run with it.
Daniel and Brandon are just a few of the folks who are making The Outer Worlds 2, and in the coming weeks, we'll have conversations about the retuned combat and revamped flaws system. And look out for our talk with Fallout OG and creative director Leonard Boyarsky about the evolution of RPGs and much more. If you missed our deep dive on what's new with character builds, be sure to check that out too. It's all part of our exclusive coverage on Obsidian's next big game, so for more on The Outer Worlds 2, stick with IGN.
I mean, that looks cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like as far as like the art style looks cool. Gameplay, it's a shooter. I'm all the way with that. It looks like they're gonna have like, I mean, Obsidian. They got games like that be looking kind of like some Bethesda type looks. So I'm assuming the RPG mechanics are gonna be pretty clean, and all, making choices and talking, dialogue, and all that. All that is cool. But my thing is, I don't even know what this world is about. Like, what is happening? Why are we here? Like, who was the big baddie? They keep showing a lady. Like there's like a lady that they keep showing, right? It's like a lady that's like being released or something. I don't know. So I don't know if she's the big baddie. If so, why should I be worried about her? But I guess that's gonna be a secret. Maybe they're gonna let you know. Maybe in a later trailer, or maybe you have to find out when you play the game. But I mean, gameplay is cool though. But I need a cool story too. I need a cool story too. There's only so much gameplay can do for me sometimes. You know? So I don't know. It looks cool. I'll keep my head. I'll keep my head. Um, I'll keep my head like my mind open to it. Basically. What do y'all think? This is y'all wish list? I don't. We'll see. But I'm gonna leave it like that, y'all. I'm gonna catch you on the next video.